Hey, Karita here with more tools, insights, and strategies to help us teach tap classes that our students will be excited about. So this quick tip for tap class is talking about kids today. If you have noticed, like maybe I have noticed, the kids today are a little different. Like they're a little more impatient, maybe more anxious, and easily frustrated in our tap classes. So if you are noticing this, feeling this, you are not alone, right? So now the challenge that I want to give you today in this quick tip is to not just throw up your hands and be like, oh, these kids today, right? We still want to give our our love of tap dance to these 21st century impatient kids, right? Impatient students. So here's some ways that we can do that, right? So one is to empathize, right? I really want you to empathize with your students. I'll put myself out there and say, listen, I love Amazon Prime and I want my groceries delivered, and I stopped doing some of my postpartum PT because it just wasn't going fast enough, okay? Like I lost a little enthusiasm because I wasn't seeing progress fast enough. Got easily frustrated. I have become a 21st century, a little bit of a wanted now kind of person, right? So empathize with your students. So if you're feeling it, if you get it, if you yourself are getting that, then just empathize with your students and understand that the instant is the new normal. They were born into it. They didn't evolve into it like I did because I was born in the 1900s, but they are born into this world of everything can happen right now. There's an instant download. There's an instant fix, right? So empathize. Two, I want you to do a little gut check, right? So this is a little bit more of a dig deep personal challenge, and I'm going to ask you, are you easily frustrated as a teacher? Are you finding yourself frustrated in class? Are your goals for class realistic for the length of your class? If you have a 30-minute class, are you setting things up, really designing things for a 30-minute class or a 45-minute class? If you are frustrated, if you are impatient as the teacher, if you are having your own 21st century vibes and that's coming into your tap classes, then your students are feeling your energy. You have the most powerful energy in the room, right? You are the teacher. Like you're driving the bus. Like you've got that energy that's really going to influence the class, even if they're frustrated. So if you're coming in with a clear confidence and strategy and plan, your energy is going to win out. But if you're coming in and you're starting to go with that and feeling your own frustration as a teacher, feeling like, oh, I keep saying the same thing over and over again and it's not working. I keep doing the same demonstration over and over again and they're not getting it. And then you throw your hands up and go, oh, these kids today are just too impatient for tap, right? Then we're not getting to where we really can get to, right? So I really want to challenge you as a teacher to check your own self and the energy that you're bringing to class, and to know that if you're feeling frustrated in class, if you're getting worried, if you're feeling insecure, not confident, those things are rubbing off on your students, right? So we really want to check in with that. And the third thing is to just flat out adapt, right? Just to flat out adapt, right? The times have changed. We can adjust our teaching approaches with it. Now, when tap dance was first evolving, the early educators and the innovators were just like, hey, follow me. But there's so many more effective ways to teach now as tap dance has continued to grow and become something that's really for everybody. Right now, I was lucky enough to be born into a family of musicians, drummers, people in my family danced, right? So I was one of those kids who could just pick it up. And chances are, if you're teaching tap, it's because you just got it. And so you're looking at the kids like, I got it. Why can't you just get it? Well, because there's a lot of kids in class who don't just get it. They're not all naturals. The majority of your kids in your classes or students in your adult classes are not natural tap dancers. That doesn't mean that tap dance isn't for them, but it does mean that we have to be better teachers. Okay, so we've got to find ways to adapt our teaching approaches to meet the needs of today's very sweet but also impatient students, right? And also to satisfy our own impatient selves. Okay, so we've really got to be willing to adapt that. And we can absolutely adapt our teaching style without sacrificing the integrity of tap dance. We're not talking about that, obviously, but we can and should absolutely adapt our teaching approaches to meet the needs of these students, to bring them into that love of tap dance and not let their frustration or our frustration get in the way, right? We've got to have skills that can bridge those gaps to meet the needs of every kind of learner in our class. We don't need 14 tools to do it because there's 14 different students in the room. We don't have to individualize it like that. It's not 14 private lessons. But there are strategies that you can use, a handful of strategies that you can pull out of your little tap, teach, and dance bag to reach all of those students. If you don't have those skills, you need to get them. You need to develop them, okay? So this is where we are with it. So please jump into the comments and let me know what motivates your students. It's 21st century. Like, what motivates your students? What gets them going and what inspires them to practice tap? What inspires them to fall in love with tap, to stay engaged in class? What things are working for your students now? Let's dig into their motivations, meet our students where they are, and then bridge the gap with really effective teaching tools to bring them along in their love of tap dance and really develop their quality of skill, right? So one, we can empathize with these 21st century kids because we are also in the 21st century wanting it right now. And two, we can do a self-reflection, do a gut check on our own expectations, our own goal setting for tap class. If we're not being realistic, if we don't have clear, effective strategies for reaching our goals, then everybody's gonna be frustrated. And then let's keep adapting our teaching skills to meet the needs of today's students. We are not just teaching a class full of natural tap dancers. Most of us aren't, but tap dance is for everybody, right? And we want to meet the needs of those students, and let's become better versions of ourselves as educators to meet their needs and help them fall in love with this amazing art form. So that's today's quick tip. Jump in the comments, let me know what motivates your students, subscribe to this channel, join my email list, karitagriffith.com/email, and have a great tap class this week.